so sick.
Unless it's dragging sandbags around?
No, that one I sent to the group chat.
Oh, okay. We're rolling, boys.
What's up? What volume is this, Blake?
Oh gosh, 5 I want to say.
Alright, Truck Chats Volume 5. We got myself, we got our law enforcement buddy, and we got Tommy, the classic podcast host.
Yes.
What's up? Whatever. Truck Chats, we're on the way to teach some classes. Let's do it. So what were you saying, Tommy?
Oh man, have you guys noticed, like, the thing that people get riled up by the most isn't about tactical training, where you zero your rifle or anything like that. It's like safety stuff. It's like your workspace. It's about safety manipulation. It's the question of whether you carry with one in the chamber or not. Issues like that people are very opinionated about, but it's across the board. There's no clear answer for anyone, but they're so set on their opinions.
Did you see that one in the chamber thing?
Did I see the one in the chamber?
Yeah, the little video we made.
Yes.
What do you think? What's your opinion? Never heard this guy's opinion before.
My opinion, if you're going to carry a gun, I would get comfortable carrying one in the chamber.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that they want to carry the gun, but they're scared to carry a gun with the one in the chamber. The gun just doesn't go bang itself unless there's some sort of manipulation with the trigger.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, when I first started concealed carrying, I didn't carry one in the chamber. It's something you have to work into.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely would get into carrying one in the chamber.
Oh, for sure. We just had so many people commenting that were like spiteful. And they were saying, if you don't want to carry one in the chamber, you shouldn't carry it all.
And
Tons of people.
I disagree with that.
I totally disagree.
Is there an element where you'd have to really train on, if you're not going to carry one in the chamber, to racking one in the chamber? 100%. But I think a gun is better than no gun, in my opinion, you know?
Exactly. That's what Blake was saying too. Oh, man. Well, then I was asking the people, why do you think that? And it was because, well, that person seems like more of a liability. And I think there is some merit to that, but at the same time, you know.
There's so many people out there that are great shots and even have training that don't carry one in the chamber. Because of kids or things like that.
Yeah.
If it's something that you work into training where once I deploy, I gotta tap rack and get one in the chamber, then so be it. But I think it's better than nothing, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%. Tommy, you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree. People don't accept any kind of nuance in that subject, right? Like, if you're a 70-year-old lady carrying a small gun in her purse, she can keep it unchambered, and that's probably the right move to go. And like he said, like, if you're untrained and you're not comfortable doing it, you should work up to it eventually. But if you're not comfortable, don't do it. Like, there's some nuance there. Of course, one in the pipe is always best. You know, we all accept that. But it's not perfect for everyone.
Yeah, I said in the comments a lot on that. I had one Green Beret buddy that overseas he would not carry one in the chamber. And this isn't like going on missions. This is more of like a security detail type situation. Now, obviously in that setting, I did for sure. There's no doubt about it. But he didn't because of, he was like, oh, well, if the threat takes it from me because we're in and around these people a lot. I don't know if there's any really hardcore merit to that. But he did show on the range he was really, really fast. Kind of like those Israelis. You see that?
Uh-huh.
Those Israeli draws. He didn't do it like, I think they kind of present out here. Something like that. But he was, sub 1.25s at a concealed and open draw without one in the chamber. Now, I wouldn't do that because I was obviously quarter to half a second faster than them because I didn't have to rack the round. But I don't know. Crazy stuff. What do you got, Blake?
Well, I just think of a scenario where...
Oh, yeah. Look at that scroll.
We want to be prepared, of course, for like the direct, you're involved in an immediate threat kind of situation. But that's not the only scenario that could potentially play out. Like Dickens' guy at the mall shooting, right? The threat was not immediately in front of him, but he dealt with it, and he would have probably had time to rack around if he needed to.
Yeah.
So it's not like that's the only scenario where you potentially could need a gun. You may have time to rack around. So it's not like it's completely useless, I guess is my point.
Yeah. That same Green Beret buddy, he brought up a good point that I said in the video too about how it gives him, now I'm not saying I agree with it 100%, but it gives him an extra quarter of a second and an extra step to be like, okay, do I actually need to kill this person or not?
Yeah.
So there could be something to be said there, but
of course, ideal is just carry with one in the chamber.
yeah,
That's what it's designed to do.
that is ideal. That is ideal.
I mean, my opinion on it is it's one less thing you have to do, one less thing that can go wrong
Mm-hmm.
during a life and death situation.
With adrenaline pumping and everything.
Yeah, I mean, even like you see these videos when people have to use their gun, even like a normal reload that everybody trains with, they still
Mhm.
fumble because of, you've got your adrenaline dumping and you got tunnel vision, you got all this stuff working in. I think the less you have to do to make that gun go bang, in my opinion, is better.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows, maybe some people will come out and they're trained to, they've trained it so much where their body's just natural to rack one and go. But I'd hate to be in a situation to draw your gun, you go to present it on target,
Right.
and click,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Did any of you ever carry without one in the chamber, like when you started carrying?
Go ahead.
I did. So I started concealed carry when I was 18, because Utah changed to an 18 concealed carry. And as an 18-year-old, I was barely getting into pistol work, so I didn't carry with one in the chamber for probably a year until I started doing training and getting comfortable with it. I didn't carry one in the chamber for a while.
Yeah, I remember, especially certain situations, there's some states that require you to have a certain amount of actions to get the gun into action, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah. I think California is one of them. You have to have 2 forms of safety on a firearm,
And that could count as one of them.
I think they do count that as one, because obviously there's not a round to go bang unless it's
Yeah. So I've been on some security details where in certain situations that was the legal case. Therefore, and it was like a dress code situation too. So it's like actually the pistol's on my stomach instead of in the pants, which is a thing. We should make a video about that, like dress clothes, EDC. But either way, yeah, I was carrying without in the chamber because, especially in a state like that, it doesn't matter if you use it or not. If you're totally justified, they're just going to be like, you're carrying illegally, so they're still going to hit you with something.
Yeah, there's always that somebody trying to file a lawsuit against you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and it's just kind of some not on the flat range stuff. There's a lot of other considerations, like Blake said.
Yeah.
It's not always right in front of you, for sure. Awesome. All right, so what else? Oh yeah, what'd you say, Tommy? Workspace?
Oh yeah, the Workspace one. I don't know why people were so bent up about that too. It's like, it's in your workspace where you can see it and you can see everything around you. But everyone was so adamant, like, I point my guns down or at my target at all times. And I was like, I don't get why there isn't any flexibility in your opinion there. There's scenarios where that might not be a good idea at all.
Yeah, we had a short little video that we put on YouTube, and it went on Instagram too. That got a decent amount of interaction, I think. But we had the one to go on YouTube, and it's about at 1 million views or something. Hundreds of comments. So it's basically about working your rifle and your pistol in your workspace. And if you watch the entire video, that was 2.5 minutes long?
Yeah, sure.
It's just, we're just talking about literally at a class, guys on the range shooting and manipulating their weapon. And then guys are like, oh, but this or that. And then in combat and blah, 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 blah. And then they're given these total, always point my gun down or always keep it oriented at the target. And I responded to a lot of them like, dude, we're not saying you have to do it like this every time, but point it at the target, point it down, point it up, running around, moving. You got to know all of them for sure. There's a time and place for everything.
Yeah.
And we had guys that are saying, I'm in law enforcement currently, and they teach us to keep it pointed down the entire time, which is interesting because all LE guys I talked to said that's not the case. Who knows though? Who knows? Crazy stuff.
I don't know. It's one of those things where I want to mitigate everything that can go wrong, like human error. And you see all these videos of people trying to load a mag, and again with your tunnel vision, you've got an adrenaline dump, something that a lot of people practice, they're still fumbling with because of those natural reactions that your body are doing. If I can bring it up, one, I'm keeping my eyes on my target, But two, if I am fumbling, I can look down or away from the target just for a second to get that, to then proceed back to what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of my take on it, is if you point it down and you're fumbling with the mag and you're still trying to pay attention to your target, more than likely you're going to look down to get that mag in, because you're going to get frustrated or it's going to take too long, you know, to get your gun up and going again. Why not just bring that in your workspace, and in the long run it's going to be a lot quicker.
Yeah.
You don't have to come back up, you know, just little things like that, in my opinion, make a huge difference.
Yeah, I like a lot of the high-speed pistol shooter competition guys. I think this is how it is, Tommy. A lot of them are saying nowadays to, like, you know, whatever workspace or half workspace, whatever the hell they do. But then they just look at that seating situation for a millisecond, then get back on it to make sure they don't screw it up.
That's
I like
it,
that
yeah.
advice.
And that's all it takes, really, is
Probably
a
a
brief,
tenth of a second of focal shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And
Part of the issue you guys had is you have your workspace up, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of them were saying in the YouTube comments, like, if you accidentally discharge,
Oh.
it's like, bro, what are you doing? Your finger's not anywhere near the trigger. You're not going to have an accidental discharge straight up.
Yeah. That was one of the things that a ton of people were like, what goes up must come down.
Yeah.
Which is true.
And what about the people on the second floor? But the same can be said, well, if you're on the second floor and there's somebody on the bottom.
Yep.
So you-
Totally
like you said,
situational
you gotta
dependent.
have control over the whole thing.
Yes.
What rate? So I was trying to think about this from a physics standpoint. At what rate is a projectile? I mean, it depends on the angle that it's shot. But how fast is it going to come down?
Terminal velocity.
Okay, what's that?
I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's not lethal.
Yeah.
It's not lethal.
It's
For a
the
projectile,
It's
Ooh.
the fastest it can go after it's like come back down some subsonic. And things falling out of the sky can only go so fast, and there's a maximum velocity.
Yeah,
And it's non-lethal.
It's non-lethal.
I swear Mythbusters did
Oh, really?
test on it.
Yeah.
Oh!
I bet you can find it.
We should totally screen record that, because you could do that, right? It's illegal,
Yeah.
and share it, and be like, "You guys are full of shit."
Yeah.
No, I'm not. Obviously, we're not advocates for. Oh, it's fun if you shoot in the air.
We should just do an episode with us in white lab coats, just to bust these guys.
That'd be awesome.
You know?
Yeah, we'll have Braden there. Like he likes to get hit by it.
See, this is the thing, though, is like, you need to be fluid in the tactics you use, because one of the terms they throw around all the time is your situation dictates your tactic. If I'm in a multi-story building, obviously if I'm on the first floor, I might not want to point my gun up.
Absolutely.
But if I'm on the top floor, I might not want to point my gun down. And that's where it kind of bugs me sometimes, is somebody's like, I always point it down. Well, what situation are you in, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're on the first floor and you're just training in just a one-level building, then yeah, maybe you can get away with that if that's what you desire. But if you're on, the 5th floor and there's 4 other floors behind you, it's not much safer to point it down, because how many people are underneath you and all that. I don't know. That's one of the soapboxes I have. People that bugs me is they're set in stone in one way and one way only.
Yeah.
Where I think that's where it fumbles a lot of people up.
Yeah.
And especially in a high stress situation when something actually fumbles you up, where you're not able to do the one way that you've trained all the time, you'll freeze and I don't know. That's the one thing, is I feel like people need to try a bunch of different things, and situation dictates your tactics.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun today with the shoot maneuver, getting them moving in depth and laterally, and with multiple guys and all this stuff. It's gonna be fun to teach them how to adapt instead of teaching them one way. Okay, this is how you do it. You bound like this. And we'll put them in situations where we're going to make them move in unexpected directions, and how are they going to figure it out after we give them the fundamentals. Obviously, it'll all be safe, but it'll be good stuff. Awesome. Yeah, so what's next? What should we talk about next? What we got?
What else do people get pissed off about online? Surprisingly, have you guys noticed it's not about any of the tactical stuff? if we're like, what's the best distance to zero your rifle? Nobody knows and nobody cares. Or it's like, what's the best technique to do this particular thing? It's like, nah, like they're not as opinionated about those items.
I think one of the opinions more recently have been iron sights or red dots on handguns. 'Cause that's kind of a, I wouldn't say new, but kind of new. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I've had a
It's
conversation.
new to Gen Pop.
Yeah, I've had a couple of conversations with buddies and coworkers, and there's a lot of different mixed opinions about if you should run a red dot on a pistol or
For
not.
duty.
Yeah, like I mean,
Really?
it's a new thing. Like a lot of my buddies, they're like, well, it's just something else that can fail, and I don't know. I'm kind of both ways. I think if you're gonna run a red dot, you definitely have to have some sort of iron sight backup that you can still use. But I don't know. What's your guys' opinions?
There was a good chunk of time there where red dots weren't as reliable as they are today. Do you know what I mean? When they first got popular or they first came out, iron sights were still king because the earlier models weren't like very battle proven. But we're at the point where they're like really solid and it's hard to break
Right,
one.
that would have been like, what, 8-10 years ago? Where
Something
people
like
thought
that.
right?
Yeah. And so I think that's probably, those opinions are still from those early days and they think it carries to today. Either it's about battery life or resilience of those red dot optics. Yeah.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
did see one dot fail.
oh yeah, well, that was that vortex thing. That thing sucks. Pretty much aim point or Trijicon for the red dot, I would suggest would be like a good duty, duty one to use. But
I've had a lot of luck with Holosun.
yeah,
They make a couple good ones. I don't know. In my opinion, I think it's a personal preference. I've trained with both. I mean, I think I'm leaning more towards the red dot thing just because
yeah,
it's another tool on your tool belt that you could use to make things quicker.
Oh yeah, for me it's about 1 to 2 tenths faster,
Yeah.
and it's not because I draw any faster or shoot any faster. It's just that's a tenth of a second quicker that I know for sure. I don't have to do that focal plane shift from the target to the front sight. And in high stress situations, honestly, I've never even looked at the sights for irons or red dot, at least in the initial presentation. But it is much quicker and easier in a high stress situation to pick up that red dot, because you're focusing on the target of the threat so much.
Well, I think your body will naturally pick up like the red or the green depending on what you run with.
Yeah.
A lot quicker.
That's why guys run those front sight posts that are all whatever,
And
right?
I've used everything. I'm a huge fan of, if you're gonna buy a red dot, spend the extra money, get a good one that's reliable.
Oh yeah.
But also at the same time, a lot of people buy a red dot, throw it on, and they rely on that red dot only. If you can't use your front sight, or your iron sights, I think you need to be investing in some pressers, height sights.
Yeah.
So you have that backup option. I think that is a common mistake a lot of people, in my opinion, they do is they just throw the red dot on and rely on that.
Yeah.
Co-witness for sure.
Well, and there's some gun manufacturers out there too. Like I just bought a SIG M18, threw a red dot on it. By throwing the red dot on it, I lost my back portion of my iron sights, and so that was kind of frustrating because they were built into the plate that you have to remove to throw your red dot on.
But it's not short enough to still use the irons.
Well, the irons were welded onto the plate that you had to remove for your red dot. So I don't even have my back iron sight post at all on that gun. It only has the front one. So, which kind of surprises me because it's the new military gun.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that they didn't do like a backup option like that on it.
That's weird. That's really weird. Yeah. I mean, I like iron sights a lot though. They're badass.
They don't fail. I mean,
Definitely need to know
Well, they
both.
could fail though.
They could fail. They could fail. They're not. What I mean by that is they're
Oh,
not
you say
bad.
Pat's failed?
Yeah.
Everything on Pat's gun. What kind of gun is that again?
His doc, it was a Prodigy.
Yeah,
Springfield
everything. That thing
Prodigy.
is complete trash.
Everything's
Glass
been
fell off the
replaced.
dot, the rear iron got loose.
Yeah. He was having a
He
hard
had
time
issues.
that day. That's hilarious. Awesome. Yeah.
Another thing people lose their minds over, this is maybe a little bit different, but so there's a guy, Veil Solutions, familiar with him?
Oh, one of my ranger buddies, like, he just wants to suck his dick.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he's so awesome.
So he's got a EOTech, and then he has a backup red dot offset to the EOTech. People lose their minds over this thing.
Really?
It's about the redundancy, right?
Yeah.
Are they, so instead of backup irons, there's backup red dot?
Yeah.
So I'm considering something like that on this. Because right now, there's no way to put backup irons unless they're offset. And if I was going to put anything backup, well, I'd rather have a dot than some iron sights, right?
Yeah, why not? I mean, the dots have proven themselves to be completely reliable.
Yeah.
Irons, we just talked about.
Does he have them zeroed at different distances?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
I think if you're gonna do a backup option, you just have to know your equipment and take care of it. Like, I mean, how many people are like, okay, it's been 3 or 4 months since I changed the battery on this red dot. Is it still on? Yeah, it's still on. Well, just to be safe, I'm gonna change the battery out.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of people wait until it dies to change the battery out, and I think that's a bad habit.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're gonna run a backup red dot, as long as you keep up with things like that and actually use it when you train, I don't see an issue with it.
I agree. I've been replacing my batteries when the season changes.
Yeah.
It's like every 3 or 4 months. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, we just change it before the tactical games, obviously. But
Yep.
so then I'll probably do it in the fall. Oh, it's like fall time frame. Oh, I'll change out my battery, something like that. But the RMR one's supposed to be good for like 2 years. But you don't want to risk it.
And that's the thing though too, is like, I mean, there's a lot of, like, I run an 8-point and it's supposed to be good for like 6 months, and I even shut it off when I'm not using it, and I still every 3 or 4 months change those batteries out just because.
Yeah.
The manufacturer's like, no, it'll be good for 6 months to a year, but I would rather throw a battery that still has some juice away than have to use a gun and you don't have anything.
Yep. For sure.
So, I don't know, I think that's a habit people start going to get into. And
Oh, for sure.
I mean, is the $15, $20 battery, I mean, I think that's on a steep high end.
Yeah.
Is that worth it every 3 months, or you getting up on target in a life and death situation and you have nothing?
Right? You're going to do some backplate shooting,
Sure.
which is pretty effective.
It is
For body.
It is
For
if you
body
train
fitness.
in a certain distance.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, kind of going on a little tangent from that, the one thing that bugs me is a lot of people, they'll spend thousands of dollars investing in a cool setup, but they won't spend $15 on a new battery every 3 months.
Yep. That's
You
true.
know, to me that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Or $300 and 1,000 rounds of training ammo.
Yeah. I mean, little things like that. If you're going to buy a $1,000 sight, be able to buy batteries, ammo, things to go with that sight, or the gun in general, like,
For sure.
I see so many people rolling around like they have a staccato pistol. I mean, that's a couple grand alone,
Yeah.
but yet they have a cheap red dot on it, and I'm like, you spent all this money on this platform just to throw,
Pat?
That's Pat. Instead of getting a staccato, he gets a Springfield. Instead of getting an RMR, he gets a Vortex.
So it still costs a lot of money, but still sucks.
Yeah, it's like,
and
almost
a lot of
there.
people don't realize, like, there are good guns out there that don't hurt the bank.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a Glock and a SIG fan. You can get a stock Glock for $400 or $500.
Yeah.
Most of my SIGs are around the same exact price.
Yeah.
And I don't get why all these people are, I'm going to buy that $200 Taurus.
Well, you see it in courses all the time, right? People with their Gucci'd out guns are the ones that fail the most.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, yeah.
Yeah, real fancy type stuff. Maybe not zeroed even.
Yeah.
That becomes a problem. I'll be interested to see. Everybody better. Yeah, so we're doing shoot maneuver and MBG operator today. And these are more of like, I guess you could say shoot maneuver is going to be kind of like a 3rd tier class, where there's intro to carbine mechanics, static mobile carbine mechanics, and then shoot maneuver. So we're going to start them on some graded tests that are at that level immediately. In the other classes, there's kind of time to practice some prone, get a 0, but this one there won't be that. So, I mean, we'll see. A lot of people show up to these events not zeroed, or maybe they haven't confirmed they're 0.
Yeah.
That's another
So it's like,
thing.
oh, I zeroed.
Yeah,
Long
I'm good
time
for
ago.
25 yards-ish, but I don't know, 50 yards and beyond it, haven't confirmed. So they're like testing as they're going through the class.
That's another thing I think you should be doing
Consistently
is checking your zero. A lot of people will zero a rifle, and they're like, oh, it's been in the safe for 3 months, like it should be good.
Yeah.
You'd hope so. And if you spend money and get reliable optics, then yeah, it should be. But
you never know.
But you never know. I think
I check, like in the precision rifles, always double check zero grouping at 100, no matter what. But I started doing that with this. Most often, you do a nice little zero check at the beginning of a training day.
And I think you should, if not at the beginning of training days, like I think it kind of goes along with the batteries. Every season change, you should
get out there.
Check your zero.
Well, especially when you switch out the battery. All right, switch out my batteries, make sure everything's working good, check my zeros, all that kind
And a lot of people don't realize that there are a lot of optics that when you switch the battery out, it knocks off the zero.
I mean, yeah.
Most of them are
especially when you have to take it off.
Yeah, most of them are getting to the point where you can take the battery out, replace it, throw it back in, and they're claiming that it should remain zero. But a lot of people don't realize until they need to use the gun or they go out training that, oh yeah, I replaced my battery last month and this gun is way off.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. It's this exit, don't forget. But yeah, fun stuff.
Probably a good place to pause.
All right, go for it. Here, I got some stuff we can talk about in relation to the courses.
I'm rolling.
All right, so this is some fun truck chats, and now we're pulling up to the URC here in about 10, getting ready for the shoot maneuver and the night vision operator course. So what's going to be awesome about these courses is they're going to be actual application of your skills in a sort of gunfighter, high-speed environment, or whatever you'll say. So it's going to get people off and out of the flat range mentality, which is going to be super, super exciting. And we're planning a physical and nutritional preparedness thing for some search and rescue guys here next weekend, which is going to be fun. And it brought up some memories as I'm going through my old texts and my old notes and everything from the certified strength and conditioning specialist stuff. And that was the SAID principle: specific adaptations for imposed demands. So SAID, specific adaptations, imposed demands. Basically what that means is you're only going to be able to adapt and achieve what you've actually trained, right? We saw that a lot with the tactical games from a physical standpoint. We and others we saw around, maybe they're like, oh, I'm a runner, or I do a ton of bodyweight exercises and I'm really fit. But then, oh shit, now I have to do this with with 20 pounds on my body. Now I'm running around with a rifle. Now I'm moving a bunch of heavy weight. Maybe I'm not as fit as I thought just in that specific instance. Maybe if it was all body weight and running exercises, we could crush it more. But whatever you train is what you're going to be able to perform. So in the tactical standpoint, it's interesting because Mike talks about this all the time. Flat range, and we think we're a badass and we fall in love with ourselves. But inducing stress, like we do in all our courses with the physical aspect, is exactly doing that. Doing a specific adaptation to an imposed demand. How we like to do, if we're always doing, you can go faster, by the way.
Check.
Yeah.
Too slow?
No, well, I thought you were trying to go slower to make it quiet or something. If you constantly train, I'm always doing stress shoots. I'm always adding in cardio when I shoot. I consistently shoot, move, and communicate with guys, or I consistently really push myself to really tough standards that aren't just on a static, flat range position. You're going to adapt to it and be good at it. I think a lot of guys for the MVG operator course tonight are going to be stunned at how difficult it's going to be for them to not be static. Nothing we do tonight for that MVG operator performance is going to be static. It's all going to be movement. It's all going to be stress. And obviously in the shoot maneuver, they're going to have to do movement, stress, shoot, and add its communication piece, which a lot of people aren't adapted to because they've never done it. And maybe they've never done it because they haven't been taught it, which we're going to teach them. But after that, if you just don't keep doing it, you're not going to adapt to that demand and then be ready when the time comes. You know?
I 100% agree.
Yeah. So what? Oh yeah. You guys can talk too.
Well, I think a lot of people, you know, it's one of the things where I wish we would get away with looking tactical compared to tactics.
Whoa! But number one rule is always
number one
cool.
Like you want to look good, but what makes you can only look good so much without good tactics.
Yeah, exactly.
Is what I mean by that. You know, you get all these people, they'll go to a 50-yard, they'll put a still target at 50 yards, and they'll hurry and unload a bunch. Like, yo, I just hit that. But then you have that dude run 50 yards and then do the same thing.
Ooh.
90% of the time, he's not going to do as good, right?
That's right.
So
yeah.
I think there's a way to look tactical when, you know, and a lot of people are looking tactical the wrong way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's what I mean by that.
But yeah, they're adapting to the imposed demands of static, flat range shooting, you know? That's what you're saying. Instead of unexpected positions, my heart rate's jacked up. Me and Tommy did it the other day. It was pretty fun where we did a drill like I like to do with a lot of other my guys that were in like Rangers and Green Berets and this kind of backgrounds. Unknown scenarios, so basically you could do it with targets, but me and Tommy did it where we had 3 different targets and you're standing there, so it is from a static position, but I would just call out, all right, do this, stand by, beep, and he has to just do it. So instead of doing the same drill, I'm doing a bill drill. I've done a bill drill 1,000 times. He hears the stimulus I give him, do this, and he does it. Do this, and he does it. And then you can add in movement, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So you're at least adapting to unexpected stuff, getting some stress in there sometimes.
Yeah. I'll even have Devin turn around, and I set up the targets in different locations, and then on the bell he turns around and engages it wherever they may stand. So really quick thinking on your feet decision making as well is something people aren't used to.
Well, it's simple. Like a lot of people are using still targets now, right? And it's simple as getting like a couple different colors of spray paint for your still target.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, somebody turns around and you say shoot, and then when they turn around you say red, and so then they have to find that red target. What that does too is it makes you see what you're actually shooting at and assess the threat. And a lot of people, and again, like I think that's where it comes to a lot of people want to throw that still target out. They want to come up and just bang, 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 bang. Okay, I hit 100% of those.
Yeah.
When they're not inducing some stress to that. So when they are in a stressful situation, unfortunately, they can tend to freeze up, you know, and things like that.
Yeah.
That's where I think
Or shoot a non-threat.
That's a positive ID exercise, right? If they're colored or numbered and you say shoot 2, 3, then 4, you have to positively ID it and then engage.
One of my favorite targets is a big paper target, and it has like different colors. There's like 3 different colors, different shapes,
And numbers.
and you call out, okay, red, number 3. So then you have to shoot everything red. You have to shoot every number 3, and like the number 3s are all different colors. Like you call that out, so you have to really assess what you're shooting. That's my favorite target to shoot on, like at you know closer distances, you know, 25 yards and in, because you really have to think about it as you're shooting.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, same thing from the physical fitness standpoint. With the search and rescue guys, we're going to talk about a lot of them, military and law enforcement guys too. They want to get super jacked, right? And they want to pump up those weights. Well, I've probably been on over like 200 operations or something, and not once have I ever seen a barbell or a dumbbell on the battlefield, right? It's always been essentially sprinting with your carrier and your rifle or long distance cardio, you know? Almost always it's going to be some sort of endurance event, essentially. But everybody wants to look jacked and sexy, which is super important, and we have to do these bodybuilding and strength movements to prevent injury and be strong so we can handle weight and all that. But a brunt of all this tactical stuff, whatever, I don't know if that makes sense. A huge aspect of all this tactical stuff is going to be cardio. But nobody wants to do cardio because cardio sucks. But with the set principle, you're going to get what you put into it. So if you just go to the gym and lift, like our one buddy that's coming today, right? He's a big lifter, right? But he did the static mobile carbine in like February. And he was like dying in the stress shoots. He was puking, all that kind of stuff because he doesn't do cardio. So maybe like rule of Zombieland, rule number 1 is cardio.
Yep.
It's super, super important.
Yeah.
I think there's a happy mixture of both. Obviously, you need some strength. Like
You gotta have strength.
if you're toting a rifle around, or you know, like one of the cool things that I did when I went to the police academy is they had us hold our Glocks out, no mags, because obviously we had to have a safe environment. But we held out, only punched out like you were shooting a target, and they hit a timer. And they said, go as long as you can. And within a minute or two, there were so many people that were like, oh, I have to bring this down. And you're surprisingly, your body will hold that out longer than what your mind's telling you.
Oh, for sure.
I think there's a lot of people I think they gave us a 5-minute mark. And there's a lot of people that went 5 minutes, 7 minutes. But then there was a lot of people that dropped, after
1 or
like
2
a minute.
minutes,
And now strength will come into play with that, especially if you're holding a rifle. But there's so much that only strength can do, and where cardio has to come into play.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think finding a happy medium between the two.
Got to. And the more muscle you have, the more that muscle requires oxygen. Therefore, your oxygen demand is going to be even higher. If you're like a 250-pound super jacked bodybuilder guy versus a 200-pound guy that still has a good amount of muscle and a good amount of strength, but he can move that blood around differently and much more efficiently. So, yeah. Interesting stuff. It's the SAID principle. Look it up. Yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah, so anything else you guys want to chat about? We're almost to the range.
Did you guys notice? Oh, me and Devin went to tactical games, and it was the same concept, right? There was a ton of super fit people, either CrossFit people or long distance runner or weightlifters. They're just super physically fit, but then they could also shoot as well. But the shooting experience is on a flat range or indoors, just standing, that kind of thing. And when you combine the two, where it's physical stress and high levels of marksmanship, that wasn't like something that they trained and specifically prepared for. And I saw a lot of people struggling with that. If their heart rate wasn't elevated, it was just resting, they'd be great shooters. Or if it was just a lifting portion, no shooting, they'd be just fine as well. But combining them was really difficult. Something that a lot of people don't do.
The mindset thing comes into play a lot more than what people think too. I mean, you do those workouts until you're just like, you're tired. But your mind will tell you you're tired before your body's actually tired.
It'll tell you to quit. It's like, why are we doing this? Maybe we should stop. And it's up to you whether you listen to those signals or push further than that. It's a safety mechanism that your mind tells you to do. It's like, you're exerting a lot of force and energy right now. Are we supposed to be doing this?
I like this. It's kind of nice, right? All right. I'll get this. You guys can keep going. Talk shit on me if you want to.
Freaking Devin. Stress shoots for sure. Everything we do, I guess you start layering on more interesting stuff to do as we go along. I mean, we can start with marksmanship, and then we start moving. It's like during moving and shooting, let's add in more stress. Let's add in multiple targets. Let's add in barriers. Let's add in unknowns. And so that's how people should progress in their training too. If they're good with their draws and basic stuff, add in a different element to make things interesting and to learn.
And I think it boils down to, you got to master those basics first before you add on. Like, I've seen so many new shooters, they want to do all this stuff that they see videos on of these people doing, and it actually puts them back further if they just would have mastered the basics and then went on to the, it doesn't take much to master the basics. If you really put time and ammo to it and you master the basics, then you can go and do these, stress shoots. You start doing, the numbered targets, things like that. But I've seen so many people that they want to do that stuff right off the bat.
Right, but they're not getting quality reps, right? Because they're struggling with the basics.
They're not getting quality reps because, they haven't mastered the basics, especially, some little things as like trigger pull, grip, and all that. If you don't have that mastered, when you go do these things, your quality's not going to be there.
Right. So it's like taking it in levels. You have to master some of the beginning stuff first before you even try any of the other stuff.
I think it's kind of like karate and jiu-jitsu and stuff. When you get your belts, as you master one thing, you change your belts. I think shooting's the same exact way. They're just not belts, if that makes sense.
And it's a lot more than shooting. There's a lot more that goes into this than shooting. Thinking, fitness, decision making, all that good stuff. But I guess that's all we got. We're about to pull up the URC and we're going to absolutely crush these classes. See you guys later.